remember to turn on all notifications so you don't miss a video. The Arrancar arc, or saga, is made up of multiple sub-arcs. There's the Invasion, Hueco Mundo, and Fate Karakura, to name a few. I used to think I just disliked everything in the whole arc, but recently I've noticed that certain sub-arcs are superior to other parts. The main ones I want to look at are Hueco Mundo and Fate Karakura Town. Both are filled with back-to-back battles, but the major difference is that the former is modeled after the Soul Society arc, and I believe this provides several advantages. The first difference is the number of heroes in each of the sub-arcs. In Hueco Mundo, there are 5. A small amount, just like Soul Society. In Fate Karakura Town, there are so many heroes. I stopped counting when I hit 20 heroes. This makes a difference in Hueco Mundo's favor, because each win and loss feels monumental when the amount of heroes to do the job is low. The heroes lose 20% of their army with each loss, so when the 4 captains come to help when the remaining 3 fighters are about to lose, it really feels like the day has been saved. Meanwhile, in Fate Karakura Town, each loss is only 5% of their army at max. The next difference is in firepower. The power of the characters in Hueco Mundo is much lower than those in Fate Karakura Town. There's 1 captain tier, 2 lieutenant tiers, and 2 third seat tiers or lower. This makes the characters the underdogs. They have a high chance of losing, so each win has more impact. In Fate Karakura Town, the roster is stacked with captains and lieutenants. Yamamoto is always in the background, so even if every shinigami lost, he could probably still solo most of the enemies. With such a trump card, it's hard to feel any pressure. Towards the end, Hueco Mundo brought in powerful characters who rarely lose, but it was only at the last minute during dire situations. The number of heroes plus firepower combines into the next difference, and that's the amount of losses they experience. First, I'll count the amount of times characters were out of commission. Then, I'll count the amount of actual losses. Chad and Rukia were put out of commission at one point. Then Chad, Rukia, and Renji are knocked out by Yami, but if I'm being honest, there was no tension there because Byakuya and Kenpachi were already on the battlefield. So that's 2 at the peak of the arc and 5 total. The amount of losses is 2. Chad and then the trio against Yami. The amount of almost losses is 2. Ichigo against Neutra and the duo against Appo. That's 2 or 5 knocked out, 2 losses, and 2 almost losses. Let's look at Fate Karakura Town. I'm stopping before Aizen becomes active, because once he starts fighting, he wins everything until Ichigo shows up. But him carrying the arrancar stats won't accurately represent the problem. The knockouts are Ikaku, Jushiro, Mashiro, and maybe Kensei. The losses are Ikaku, and Kensei and Mashiro versus Wonderwise. The almost losses are Soifon versus Baragon. That's 4 knocked out, 2 losses, and 1 almost lost. So these 2 sub-arcs have a similar amount of losses and casualties, despite the second having over twice the amount of combatants. That's bad. The next difference is the existence of an extra goal. In Hueco Mundo, they have the goal of saving Orihime, and the characters physically get closer to that goal outside of the fights. The fights are just a product of the arrancar standing in the way of said goal. There's an extra layer of plot to make the arc more dynamic. This gives the heroes 2 victory possibilities: defeat everyone and save Orihime, or save Orihime and escape. In Fate Karakura Town, this second layer doesn't exist. The only goal is to defeat the opponents in battle. Everyone's just in the same place fighting at the same time. There aren't even civilians to escort because it's a Fate Karakura Town. In conclusion, the main differences holding back Fate Karakura Town and elevating Hueco Mundo are the number of heroes, the amount of firepower they have, the amount of losses they experience, and the extra goal that they have. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and help me revolutionize the manga industry by buying my manga and spreading the word. All important links will be in the description.